Hey everybody, Kate to the rescue here. When I rescued the drained kitties the other day from under the manhole cover in Pflugerville, after we rescued the kitties, all the volunteers that came out to help me, we got to talking and we were exchanging stories about chasing dogs down highways and rescuing them off highway overpasses and all the crazy rescue adventures that we had experienced on our own. And one of the women had asked, man, where do you all find these dogs? How do you see these dogs that need help? So it really got me to thinking, like, how is it that I spot all these dogs and cats in need? And I was thinking about it, and I wanted to share what it is that I do to help animals in need so that I can share that with you so that you can do that as well and become your own to the rescue success story. So one thing that I have always done is whenever I'm driving and there's like a back alleyway or a small side street, I always just slow down and I look down that alleyway. Maybe like 2 years ago, I was driving and I looked down this back alley and there were some like apartments and it was kind of like the garages backed up to that alleyway. And I see two dogs down that alleyway and it just looked wrong to me. Something about that was questionable to me. So I'm at a U and I double back and I go down there and I see these two dogs in this alleyway. And there was a Hispanic man there and I don't speak a lot of Spanish. So I said, hey, like, is that your dog? Or kind of questioned him. And he's like, no, you want? And I was like, oh, great. So I open up the back of my car and they both jump in. They're like super enthusiastic. One was a little brown pit bull and the other one was a big, like the blue or the gray and white mastiff. He was massive. I took them both to my vet immediately to get them scanned for microchips. I didn't have a lot of hope because the boy dog, he had his balls, and I don't know about the girl. I assume she wasn't spayed. But oftentimes people get their animals microchipped when they get them spayed and neutered, so I didn't have a ton of hope. But I ended up bringing them to the vet, and the boy dog, his name was Zeus, and he had a microchip. And it was like probably mid-February when I found them. And we called the microchip company and they informed us that the dad had actually reported the dog missing a month and a half prior. So I called and talked to Dad and the dog had some sort of a makeshift collar on. So it was something that the dad did not put on the dog. And since he was such a beautiful dog, the suspicion was that somebody broke in and stole the dog from his backyard because he left it in the backyard during the day. So anyway, Dad came over and picked up the dog, and he was so happy to have him back, and I gave him info for free spay neuter. But ever since then, I really always check out those back alleyways, dark side streets, things like that, just because you never know, and dogs tend to not be on the busy streets, and they're going to kind of hide in those alleyways. Same with cats, too. So that's one thing that I always do. Another place that I always slow down and check by is dumpsters. A lot of cats by dumpsters, dogs too. They're looking for food. So anytime I see a dumpster, I always slow down and take a look. So that's another spot to look by, dumpsters. And you may see animals that are in need hanging out there. But when I'm driving, first and foremost, I'm looking for cars around me so I don't get hit or anything. But secondly, I'm always looking for just a blip, something in my peripheral vision that's an animal. I saw somebody walking a dog, and I see the dog, and then I see the person following behind with the leash. But doesn't matter where I am, I'm always on the lookout for loose dogs and animals that are in need. So if you just kind of are constantly scanning the road, scanning the area that you're in, you'll pick up on it, and it'll become instinctual for you to do that. So that's one way that I try to keep a lookout for animals in need. And a good probably 90% of the time when I find a dog, because I live in the suburbs, so probably about 90% of the time when I find a dog in my area, they're typically owned by somebody. And they've either busted out of the fence or the gate was left open by the kids by accident. So it's really just a matter of me keeping that dog, getting the dog first of all, and then keeping it safe until Mom and Dad get home from work or come back from the grocery store and realize their dog's missing, and then we connect up. So that's another way that I try to help animals, is get them off the streets and keep them safe till Mom and Dad can find that they're missing. Lastly, another tip that kind of, or a trick that I inadvertently developed was maybe like a month ago, one of my own dogs, she decided to make a custom dog door out of my fence and busted out and was on the loose. And I couldn't find her all day long. So I put up signs in my neighborhood that I was missing a dog and put my phone number. Well, I put them all over the neighborhood, and I ended up finding her. Somebody actually brought her to my vet, scanned her for microchip, and it came back with my info. So, what was I going to say? Oh, so I put up these signs, and I put them all in the neighborhood, and I collected a lot of them, but I actually had left some up by accident because I didn't remember all the fence posts and all the light posts that I had put them on. So I left some of these, and I kept getting calls. People said, I found a dog. Is this your dog? And I'm like, no, it's not. But tell me what the dog looks like. And in my neighborhood, we have several dogs that like to roam or get out or are just notorious. One is named Max and one is named Lucky. So I know where they live, and I can tell you exactly how to get to their house. And actually 2 times somebody called me, and it was this Lucky dog. And I said, oh yeah, you go here and turn right and second house on the left. So I think that if you leave your contact info on Lightpost and say, missing dog, call me, you become a resource in your community. And for me, I have returned so many of my neighbors' dogs that it's almost like I have a mental directory. Don't know the people. I know that the white Maltese lives at that house and that the old German Shepherd lives 2 doors down. So I have like a mental directory of all my neighbors' dogs in case they do get out, and I can return them back to where they belong safely. So if you put yourself out there as an animal resource in your community, people are going to call you, and then they're going to lean on you for help. And if they need help placing a dog or need help getting their animal spayed and neutered, you're the person they're going to come to. So it's just nice to be an animal advocate in your community and somebody that people can turn to when they need help. So that's just another way that I've put myself out there as somebody that can be helpful to the animals in my area. You know, I want to save the world, obviously, but, you know, I start off small by just being the animal advocate in my community where I live, my community where I work, and my social community, so that when people have questions, they know that I can help them find the answers so they don't feel lost, and I can stick up for the animals that are in need. So those are just some of my suggestions as to how you can become your name to the rescue in your neighborhood and your community. So thanks for listening to me ramble. Bye, y'all.